What's up, guys? Not2 here, bringing you a video of my top 10 favorite Pokemon. I'm really sorry, just before I say anything, I'm really sorry if the audio is weird on this. I'm trying to figure out how to record with my new computer. I already did a couple of recordings where I was barely audible at all, like I was just a really low quality whisper in the background. So I deleted all those, and then I changed my recording setup and I changed some of the microphone settings on here. So I really, really hope that I'm not blowing your brains out at this point with a ridiculously high volume. But I've already done like 10 takes of this video, my top 10 least favorite takes of all time. And you know what? I'm just using this final one. High is better than too high is better than too low, I guess. I've already been rambling on for a minute about this. So if I am going too high in volume right now, I'll just put a disclaimer to turn your YouTube volume all the way down. I don't want to hurt any ears here. I just want to be understandable. With all of that out of the way, what's up, guys? Natsu here, bringing you a top 10 video on my favorite Pokemon. I'll try to do these every 10th of every month. September 10th, October 10th, you get the point. And next month, I'll hope to give you the opposite of this list, my top 10 least favorite Pokemon. Before I start, I'd like to say that these are all my opinions. If your favorite Pokemon didn't make the list or your least favorite did, I'm sorry. It appears that we have two different brains by some miracle of nature. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Number 10. Starting off this list is Krookodile, one of my favorite Unova Pokemon. Whenever I replay Black version, one of my favorite games, I always make sure to have one of these awesome alligators on my team. Not only does Krookodile look cool, but its ground dark typing is amazing for Black's main game, being able to ward off Elisa's gym and Shuntal and Caitlyn of the Elite Four with ease. Krookodile also has a pretty good base 117 attack stat to back up crunches, earthquakes, and even outrages to wreck the Elite Four and make it to the Hall of Fame. The sheer main game power of this thing, paired with its utterly awesome demeanor, is enough for Krookodile to be number 10 on this list. Number 9. Next up is Snorlax, the lovable fat ass from Kanto. Like Krookodile, I have a Snorlax on my Fire Red team whenever I can. And can you really blame me? You can catch Snorlax before the 5th gym, and the second half of my adventure is always made better by having this monstrous physical attacker that can take tons of hits while flinching you with Headbutt, paralyzing you with Body Slam, and recovering whatever HP it's lost with Rest and a Chesto Berry, as well as annihilating anything in its path with Giga Impact. Seriously, going to the Elite Four with one of these things is awesome. Snorlax is only 9th on my list of favorites, but it is my all-time favorite normal type, and ridiculously cool nonetheless. Number 8. Manectric has always been one of my favorite Hoenn Pokemon, and like pretty much everything on this list, is on my team whenever it can be in its respective region. Looking at the Hoenn League, all of its water types, plus a flying type leader, having an electric type is crucial, and Manectric is the only one available that isn't just there to be cutesy like Plusle and Minun, and isn't useless like Pikachu. This is just my core reasoning for putting an Electric on my team for the first time, but after suffering through a near useless Electric in Ruby version, I finally evolved it into Manectric. That thing was a total beast, with Spark and later Thunderbolt to zap my enemies out of the water with its 105 base special attack stat. I've had as many Manectrics in the Hall of Fame as Snorlaxes, and for good reason. It's a strong and balancing addition to almost any team. Finally, Mega Manectric makes this thing even more well-rounded, adding to its pretty dismal defense stats and making Manectric even faster and stronger than before. It's also worth mentioning that in my age-old Ruby Nuzlocke on iFunny, my Manectric Zappity was an amazing addition to the team, carrying it through many a tough spot. Manectric's a great Pokemon, but it's only 8th on the list because it's not quite exceptional like the stuff that's up ahead. Number 7. I love it when a Pokemon really makes you work for it, as you may be able to tell from some of the pre-evolutions of the Pokemon on this list. Crobat is a perfect example of one of those Pokemon, since you've got to suffer through the ungodly, terrible Zubat phase and the ungodly, terrible pause that I have to make in this video. Some came up, sorry for the jump cut. Sorry, that was unprofessional. Anyway, you got to suffer through the ungodly, terrible Zubat phase, and then the mediocre Golbat phase before this four-winged beast can join your team. Crobat was one of the best examples of the message of Generation 2, to fix Gen 1 and clean up some of its messes. Crobat is such a huge improvement on Golbat and adds meaning to the previously annoying and useless Zubat line, fixing and cleaning up the mess that was Golbat. Not only this, but Golbat evolved through happiness, so you have to love one of the previously most useless Pokemon in order to get this great improvement. Crobat is ridiculously fast and a solid attacker, as seen by its 130 base speed and base 90 attack stat. It can utilize this to fly or cross poison your opponents, and nearly always has a slot on my team in Soul Silver. Number 6. Another team member from that Ruby Nuzlocke I mentioned earlier was Christmas, the first Sceptile I ever used. Named for his ridiculous tail, Christmas became a badass as soon as he evolved, and the last third of that game and the experiences I had with Christmas were more than enough to stop me from liking Mudkips more than Tricos. That's not an easy joke to do when it's not written down. I encourage you guys to try that. Sceptile's move pool and stats aren't really anything special, pretty much what you would expect from a decent starter, but that's plenty to rock through the main game of Hoenn, which is exactly what I did in my many playthroughs of Omega Ruby, each of which featured a stunning Mega Sceptile on my team. Number 5. Starting out the top 5 is Ampharos, a Pokemon that I have a deep affinity for. Even though it's only usable in the Johto and Kalos regions, I've gotten many great experiences in both of these regions with Ampharos. In Soul Silver, whenever I'm not Nuzlocking, I make sure to have an Ampharos on my team. It's like Manectric is in Hoenn, except I like Ampharos much more. Marine evolves much earlier than Electric, and using a Flaffy for a while is no problem when you know it's ahead. Manectric follows the basic formula for an electric Pokemon, which is fine, but Ampharos knocks it out of the park by not only having good special attack, base 115, but strong defenses as well, with 85 base defense and 90 special defense and HP. Ampharos may be a little slower than Manectric, but at least it can take a hit and deal one too. The last thing I have to say about Ampharos is that in a Wonderlock of Pokemon Y I did over the summer, I got and used an Ampharos that was the physical bulk of my team, until it was brutally executed by a critical hit from Lysander's Mega Gyarados on Earthquake. That's right, it takes a critical hit on a super effective move from an overleveled Mega Evolved Beast to kill one of these badasses. Number 4. Venusaur used to be my favorite Pokemon, and was for a long time, mainly because of the feeling I got from realizing that I am one of the few people to realize that it is by far the best Generation 1 starter. Sure, I could go on about Venusaur's base 100 special attack and special defense stats, or its move pool that includes devastating attacking moves like Petal Dance, Solar Beam, and Sludge Bomb, as well as awesome stalling moves like Leech Seed, Toxic, and Synthesis, or its Mega Evolution that sends its attack and defense stats, both physical and special, skyrocketing to or above base 100. But I'll use this time to say why I think it's a better choice than Charizard or Blastoise. First off, a Bulbasaur or Ivysaur can easily destroy Brock and Misty, and has no trouble with Surge. These first 3 gyms would be tough with Squirtle and Wartortle, and basically impossible with Charmander and Charmeleon. Secondly, in Kanto, there are way better fire and water types than the other 2 starters. If you choose Bulbasaur and want these on your team, guess what? Arcanine and Gyarados make great replacements. If you want a grass type other than Bulbasaur, you've got to settle for the mediocrity of Vileplume or Victory Bell, or maybe an Executor if you're willing to wait that long. Finally, like I said before, Venusaur's moveset can be used as that of an annoying wall or an all-out bulky special attacker, whatever your heart desires. Other than its admittedly high 4 weaknesses, Venusaur has virtually no limit, and a well-utilized one can take you to the Elite Four and beyond. Okay, I'm done rambling now, I swear. Number 3. Alright, we're getting down to the real contenders for number 1 here. The reason Embor is so high on this list is that back in 2011, Black Version was the first Pokemon game I ever played. My choice of starter was Tepig, a Pokemon that 10-year-old me had decided to overlevel the crap out of and make the only strong member of my team. The only other things I remember using in that first playthrough were a Watchog, a Zebstrika, and a Mienshao. I guess I blindly played with the coolest looking, and Watchog back then. After many failed attempts, my level 60 Embor and I defeated the Elite Four, N, and Jetsis, creating one of the bigger achievements of my childhood. I don't really like Embor because of the stats, move pool, which is admittedly pretty awful, or typing, but because of so much nostalgia. Number 2. Alright, so some of you may have seen this coming with my past references to Gyarados. Like I said with Crobat, I love when a good Pokemon makes you work for it. And a level 5 to 19 Magikarp makes you do exactly that. This ultimate powerhouse first found its way onto my team in a playthrough of Fire Red, where, already knowing what was in store, I bought the Magikarp outside of Mount Moon, and switch-trained it until I had my Gyarados. Other fond memories of this guy stem from Soul Silver, where I played using many Lake of Rage Gyaradoses, and from a few run-throughs of Pearl, where I've been known to fish for and level up a Magikarp. I also had a Gyarados in that Wonderlock I brought up with Ampharos, and that Gyarados made it all the way from the second gym to the champion with me. Although my terrible decision to leave it in against Diantha's Gardevoir at half health ended up killing it. So you can see that I've got some good memories of Gyarados, but besides my personal experiences, Gyarados looks great on paper, too. It's got a massive base 125 attack stat to end your life with Aqua Tail, Crunch, and Thrash, as well as 100 special defense and 95 HP to keep it going in battle. Its Mega Evolution has a 640 base stat total, which is on par with legendary Pokemon like Kyurem. This thing is a complete and total badass, the likes of which can only be beaten by the Pokemon that tops this list of criminal crocodiles, four-winged bat monsters, dinosaurs, flaming fighting boars, and a mother-loving sea serpent, the best of the best, and my favorite Pokemon of all time is Natu, 'cause it's cute. Thank you guys so much for watching. Here's a list of links to the pictures I used in this video, because copyright, and I'll see you in the next one.